Good evening. How are we all going tonight? I'll let everyone just start to come in and feel free to say hello. Tonight was a bit iffy. We've just had a bit of rain come through and the internet's playing up a tiny bit, so hopefully we have no issues tonight, but it should hopefully pass. I was just checking the radar then, so it looks like it's only a light shower and hopefully that's it for the now. So how's everyone's lawns going? Let's start off with that. How's your week been? One more day. Haven't got the final score of the footy. I think there's still 1/4 to go. I forgot to put my tips in today, so that wasn't a good start. So I think I got the away team, which is Brisbane. Yeah, it's not looking good, does it? Okay. All right, well, we're just waiting for everybody to join and settle in. And hopefully we've gone at 7:30, so we thought we'd give tonight a trial at the later time and just see how it all goes, because I got a bit of feedback that last week when it started at 6, a lot of people were still having dinner and sorting out just all their family duties and getting their kids sorted with dinner and going to bed as well. So hopefully the 7:30 time slot's a better time slot, and we'll see how that goes. It's a little bit cold out here tonight, so it's a little bit colder. That's the harder part. So I'm gonna have to might get a heater inside here just to keep us warm. But it's not too bad. I think the rain's not helping with that. That's half the issue. So tonight's topic is on herbicides, and I think it's a good time to talk about that because we're probably starting to notice a few winter weeds coming up. I've got quite a few coming up in my lawn. I've actually got I've got a couple of videos coming up, and we'll talk about those a little bit later, but I do have a couple of videos coming out that I'm working on herbicides and also pre-emergence and how I tackle treating weeds. So don't be afraid. Feel free to say hi, and I've readjusted the chat box as well. So now the comments will stay on the left a little bit longer. On my video that I just recently did, I decided to try and do a bit of filming with a DSLR camera, and I think I spent probably about 2 hours out just doing different filming, and I came back in and uploaded recordings, and yeah, they didn't sound too good. So the internal microphone on the DSLR, it's not the best, unfortunately. So yeah, definitely something I've got to look into there if I want to start using the camera for recording. So unfortunately, that's why we did an internal recording, but I think that kind of worked as well because it allowed me to give a few documents and show that and talk through that as well. So hopefully we'll talk about that a little bit at the end as well, just to see what you all thought, and I'd love to get some feedback on that. But no, again, tonight's topic is on herbicides and winter weeds. So again, this time of the year, we're noticing those weeds, and we're going to start tonight off a couple of things that I did mention in my last video, and that first one was spot spraying. So I want to touch base on that again, because this is a common question that I do get asked on spot spraying, is that the lawn, some people tend to have their lawn go brown after spot spraying, and I just want to put the point across again. When we are spot spraying a weed, I know it sounds better to sit there and hold the liquid, like hold the trigger to really soak that weed with herbicide, but it can end up doing more damage than good. So it's just like you would with the blanket spray, and you're just doing a quick pass over that weed, and that's all you need. That suffice to cover the leaf with the chemical, and that will start treating that weed. So just with that spot spraying, just that quick pass, just to ensure that we do get that lower amount of herbicide on there and not overdosing it where it can turn the lawn brown. The other question, and I've had a bit on this through the week, is on surfactants. Now, this is an interesting topic because there's so many different opinions on surfactants and what can be used, and I just want to touch base on what my opinion is on what you can use safely. Hey Stephen, how you going? How's all the weather down your way? So on surfactants, there's a few different opinions, and the first one is using dishwashing liquid. I'm not a fan of using dishwashing liquid, and on all adjuvants they all have a purpose. So everything that you buy has a purpose for that specific job. Using dishwashing liquid, the liquid is more suited for breaking down bacteria and dirt on dishes, and that's what we use for cleaning. It can be non-ionic, and that's what we're looking for, which is non-ionic means neutral base. It's a neutral pH. But when you use a dishwashing liquid, you got that same kind of chemicals that you're using to kill the bacteria and all your dirt and grime on your dishes, and you're using that on your lawn. So you got your cells and you got your bacteria, fungi, all that kind of stuff on your lawn, and it's something that I do want to try and avoid using on the lawn. So although it probably won't hurt doing it once or twice in a year, it's not something I really recommend. Hey Luke, how you going, mate? Then it comes to the point of, okay, how about can we use any wetting agent to use as a surfactant when we're making up our herbicide tank? Again, it can work, but we don't know if it's doing the job well. So when you got different wetting agents, there's different molecule sizes, and they all different have a purpose. So you can have a penetrant molecule, which is purely just putting that water into the ground, breaking surface tension in the soil and pushing the water through. And then you got a retaining agent, which can be a larger molecule that helps hold water in the soil. When you go to a surfactant suited for adjuvant, suited for applying a herbicide, that molecule and makeup is specifically suited for breaking into a weed itself. So personally, if I'm recommending anything, I do recommend just using a proper adjuvant, something like Weta 600 we use, or Pulse. I think there's a version in Bunnings as well. I then also go with the ratios as well. So it gives a ratio. So you can use too much as well. So if you're using too much, that, especially in like, say, the summer when it's hot, by using too much, you can end up risking that chance of burn as well. So when you go through an official product, it gives you the ratios, the rates to ensure the safety of the lawn itself. Obviously, we're not worried about the safety of the weed, but we want to make sure whatever herbicide we put out is going to be completely effective. Let's have a look who we got in here tonight. So Stephen, Luke, Andy. How you going, Andy? Luke from Silverstone Gardening, Jamie, Richard. How are we all going? Okay, Andy. All right. Well, we're going to talk about that one too, because Monument. Now, Monument's an interesting one. So Monument isn't registered for the home turf situation or home garden scenario. So we don't recommend using that one just by following the label. And we're going to talk more on the label again a little bit later as well, because it is a very important part. However, if you did have it, and we're not going to go into too much details, if your lawn is under stress, you shouldn't be using a herbicide until the lawn has recovered, and that's with anything. Because especially this time of the year, when a lawn's under stress, it can be hard to bring your lawn out of stress. And we talked about this last week with vertimowing and scarifying, and grooming even. We want to try and do the most minimal amount of harm to the lawn over winter, because if we do put it in stress, it can be very hard to get out, and that's when we can start opening ourselves to other issues like fungal disease and the decline in health of the lawn itself. So that's why we kind of, if your lawn's under stress already, don't apply a herbicide or any pesticide. So pesticides, your herbicide, insecticide, and fungicide. So I think that's very important to follow that one. So let the turf recover. And I know your situation was a tough one. For those that don't know, Andy had a bit of an irate neighbour who decided to tip petrol all over his lawn. Did we work out, was it diesel or just normal petrol? So he got a nice big line put through his lawn, and sadly that's done quite a bit of damage. So yeah, we're trying to work on getting that back, better health. 100% Luke. Yeah, Wetter 600 is really cheap and it'll last forever. I think you're only using, I can't remember off the top of my head last night, I haven't done read the label for a while, but you're only using about 15 mils in a 15 litre knapsack, so not much at all. Yeah, I'm good, Jamie. How are you? You good? Yeah, so you don't use a lot, and it's just something you just can store safely and can just use it whenever you need it. And that is the important part, which was the question on, should I use a adjuvant with my herbicide? And I just like to play that safe card and use it on any scenario when I'm applying for a herbicide on weeds, because there's weeds out there that have that wax coating, or they could be hairy. So it just helps break the surface tension on the weed, allow the chemical to penetrate into it. So that's how I feel about surfactants. And for those who did miss it earlier, it was that with dishwashing liquid, I do try and avoid saying use it. If it was the last resort, then yes, okay. But the dishwashing liquid is suited towards washing your dishes, breaking down that bacteria, dirt, and grime, and that's something we don't really want to put on our lawn. And that goes with using it as wetting agent as well, for that fact. And that's the very important part when we're using herbicides, is we try and think of the soil under us. It's the zoo under our feet. So there's a lot of microbes, fungi, bacteria, worms. There's a lot of life in our soils. So we really want to look after that and make sure we do minimal harm whatsoever to that soil, because that is the key to our growing success, is looking after that. As well as, of course, you got leaching and washing into the waterways as well. So again, we can touch base a little bit on that, just to ensure that following the label is not only protecting yourself, protecting others, but it's protecting the environment as well. So it's very, very crucial that we read that label to ensure what we do is in the safest manner. Still a strong smell? Yeah, I think it's gonna be, oh yeah, engine oil. Yeah, I think it's going to be a little while before we do get that smell away. It's a bit, yeah, it's disappointing, unfortunately. But we'll keep chipping at it, and we've already seen those signs of improvement, haven't we? You did mention Monument. So let's have a quick talk about non-turf registered chemicals, and also non-labeled chemicals like Monument, where it's not labeled for the home garden and more for commercial use. Hey Ben, welcome mate. Thanks mate. Yeah, I've been meaning to get back into it, and it's, yeah, long road, but yeah, we're here again and I'm enjoying it. I love this. So something I do love, so I'm glad I'm back. Man. Oh no, Jamie. Hopefully get it back on track. And yeah, that's a big thing as well. Make sure you're awake when you do read the label and when you're measuring and making sure you're getting it right, because once it's out, it's hard to fix. So on the non-turf registered chemicals and on chemicals that aren't registered for home use, this is an interesting topic because let's use propyzamide, which is a chemical for treating winter grass, and that's going to be an important one this time of the year. And basically all chemicals have this. You can find the active ingredient of any chemical in there's many non-turf registered products out there that carry the same ingredient. The issue is because it hasn't been tested properly on turf and it hasn't got that proper requirements to be labeled on the label itself, we try and avoid recommending it, and we will not recommend it at all, because we have a duty of care for the environment and for the industry, most importantly, the environment and the industry, to ensure what we do is in a safe manner. You notice that we do delete the comments on, say, WA Lawn Addicts, and I know Australian Lawn Fanatics and a lot of other lawn pages do tend to... hang on, just get sneeze. Oh, sorry about that. You do notice a lot of lawn pages do delete that. Most of us are all in agreement for the same reason, that we're trying to protect the environment and the industry. And I believe that Australian Lawn Fanatics got warned as well from the health department to not go down that path because they can get held accountable. We've stuck to our guns on that kind of situation, just for mainly environment and also the safety of the industry as well. And I'm not afraid to talk about it, and everyone can talk about it here, because I feel it's fine to talk about in this kind of scenario, and I'll be able to give you a reason why. So my biggest fear with this industry is that, and especially with forums and pages, is that we've got 30,000 plus members and we don't know every single one of them. So we don't know who they are or what industry they work in. So I find if we start promoting non-turf registered chemicals and bit of neglect and misuse of chemicals, then that's fuel for the fire of them shutting down the industry. And of course we won't see it with other sports turf scenario or schools, but especially in the home industry, we could see a lot of regulations, and it might turn into a case that I can't even sell a bottle of Dicamba M or bow and arrow or anything like that. They might just say, nah, that's it. You have to have your lawn sprayed by a professional. And I don't ever want to see that, because the whole point of being an addict, of lawn addict, is that we do these things ourselves and we can maintain our lawns ourselves and look after and do all these little things. However, I do step that line on, there's a point where I think a contractor, a registered turf registered contractor who's had their license, apply chemicals. And Duke or Destiny for onion grass, or Guildford grass as some call it as well, is a big one. I'll touch that on in a second, because I'm going to start with metsulfuron before I forget it, and Ben's mentioned it, and I'm just going to have a quick read of the comments. Thanks, Jamie. Yeah, so Ben's mentioned metsulfuron, and again, we delete that straight off of our WA Lawn Addicts page. It's the cheapest option to treat onion grass, and it can. However, it's not turf registered. There's no real testing. I think there's some people who do use it, and not naming names, and it's not something that's been trialed in the turf scenario, and we don't know the effects of on what it has on long-term effects of turf, and also the on the environment itself. And it's not the nicest chemical. It you do really need to use the PPE for it, and that's important on any chemical anyways, using PPE. And Luke's just mentioned it as well, and I've had people who've come to me, and contractors, again, not naming names, who turned around and have shown me pictures of their lawn and gone, what's happened here? I don't know. I've used this product, and I'm like, well, what's the application rate? And they're like, well, I don't know. It's not labeled. So it's why we use turf registered chemicals is because that label is so important. It gives us everything that we need to safely apply a product. Well, if it's not labeled, we can't safely apply a product. So that's the way I feel it. If you can't safely apply in a product, it shouldn't be used. I hate the situation, and especially because I've got to sell it as well. And it's like mentioning propyzamide again. You can buy it in 10 litres and it costs cheaper than what it would probably just about for 1 litre. And I hate that fact. But again, it's a duty of care, and it's safety. I think I'm going to use, how about when we go out, and for those who are married, and you go out and you mention that word wedding. You go to booking a venue for your wedding, and you turn around and say, oh, I'm here for a 50th anniversary, a 50th birthday. Oh, yeah, no worries. Here's our price list. And you go through and say it's $4,000. Walk in the next day and saying, oh, I'm so happy that we booked this venue for our 50th birthday. Can I book it for our wedding? Oh, yeah, no worries. Let's grab this price list for you. And it's automatically $8,000 for exactly the same package. I find that's exactly the same with turf. But it's not just that. There's a lot of science and trials testing. To even put the word turf on a label costs a lot of money. So that's what you're paying for, is not the actual product itself. It's that trials, errors, research, all that R&D, and also the costing of actually getting that product on the label itself. Yeah, absolutely, Ben. Yeah, you're not wrong. And that's the big thing. In the wrong hands. And that's what brings me to Duke or Destiny with Guildford Grass. So I don't think there's any legislation on whether I can sell it to a residential or a commercial contractor. I personally chose that I won't supply it to a residential homeowner because, from what I believe, this product is the last. You know how weed builds up a resistance, and over years, when it builds up resistance, they change the chemical. I believe Destiny and Guildford Grass is, and Luke might be able to confirm on this as well. But I believe that for Guildford Grass in a turf registered scenario, Destiny and Duke is the last chemical that will treat it in that turf registered scenario. So once it builds up a resistance to that, then they got to try and work on something else for it. And of course they will, because they do that with everything. You go from dicamba to bow and arrow, and so they will. Then there would be already trials and tests already going on for that. Yeah, absolutely, Ben. That's 100%. And I don't want to ever get that phone call to say, hey, look, I'm from the health department, and because you guys have recommended this product and it's done damage, when we're going to hold you accountable. So that's something, I don't want to ever see the day of. And again, so with Duke, why I don't pass it on to residentials is because there's also, you're only allowed to use it twice a year. And when you apply it, you got to document it down and keep those documents as records. So when we go into that kind of scenario, Yep, we're going to go on that too, Luke. Actually, I am going to do that. Quali Pro. I completely forgot about that. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. Now, there is a metsulfuron that is turf registered, and I forgot. This is only recent. And it is a lot more expensive. But it's also mixed up with another herbicide called Rimstulfron. You're going to have to forgive me. If I mention any chemical names, I've got no idea how to pronounce them properly. So I'm just going to wing it and go with what I feel like it's called. Okay, I'm going to bring that up in a minute. There we go. Okay. So back on the Duke and the Destiny is, again, so when I feel like a chemicals needs that much detail of care, I'll only recommend it and sell it to a licensed contractor for those who've done that proper training, and I'll only recommend them to spray it. For the cost of the actual chemical itself, Duke's $235. So generally, if I was getting a contractor to spray it, it will be under that in most cases, depending on the size of the lawn. In most cases, it will be under that anyway. And as again, you're only allowed to apply it twice a year. Luke brought up a product. Now, let's have a quick look at this label. I completely forgot about this one, Luke, because yeah, I've just opened it 50 times. That's where it is. Right. Let's see if I can bring this up. Let's capture. Here we go. That didn't work as well as what I wanted. Can I? Sorry, guys. We go like that. And we go like that. That should be suffice for now anyway. Okay. I can probably, yeah. We'll leave it there. You're going to miss my face. Sorry about that. Although, I'm not too disappointed about that. Hey, Harry, how you going, mate? All right. So this is a turf-registered metsulfuron. And as mentioned, it has rimsulfuron as well. And if we scroll down, it will give us our turf scenario. And it's basically Cooch and Zoysia. So that is all it will be safe for. So KQ, which Ben's mentioned that it does cause a few issues with KQ and Buffalo. So in Cooch, let's see if I can see any do nots. Here we go. And again, that part there is why I'd only sell it to a contractor. And don't apply it more than 5. Lawns and ovals. So, yeah, it'll be safe for your own lawn. That's fine. But again, it's something that I'd only sell to a contractor. And I believe the price point is similar to Duke itself anyway. Yeah, so I believe the price point is similar to Duke. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, I feel the same, Ben. 100%. But you just never know these days, and that's what worries me a little bit, is just you don't know. I mean, you look at a McDonald's cup when you buy a coffee, it's got caution hot on top of it. So, I mean, you just don't know what people get sued for these days, and you just got to be protect yourself a little bit. But the cost of this, and it's exactly the same methylfuron, where it's only, I think it's like $30 for 25 grams. This is quite up there in price, which is the same price as Duke, pretty close, I think. So if you're going to spray, I'd apply Duke. And yeah, so yeah, Luke made that comment. So with that type of chemical, I'd be more inclined just to let a contractor who is licensed to spray that, just for safety. But I have got no problems of bow and arrow or any chemicals that, you know, are more commonly purchased for the homeowner use if they read that label and follow those directions really to a T. And anyone who asks, and I think you all see that when someone makes that comment going, oh, how do I do this? Or what do I do this? I go, well, have you read the label? And that's the first thing I'll ask. I'll never I'll never tell someone the full instructions. I'll say, have a read of the label. If you got any questions, I'm more than happy to talk through the label with you so we can get that proper understanding of what's going on to make sure it's all safe. So let's have a look here. What else have we got here? Okay, what are we on there? But anyone got any questions on that? And has anyone got any questions at all anyway? I don't think I had asked that earlier, but if you got any questions, feel free to ask, just so I can answer those as we go. Yes and no, Jamie. So yeah, so you'll notice, and that's another thing, and we'll talk about mode of actions actually right now. You'll notice every chemical is in a group. So you got your group ratings. And I'm going to say thanks to Luke on helping with this as well, because when we start talking chemicals, wording is very hard to explain to the general public, because like the chemical itself, there's a lot of big words and a lot to understand. Now, you got your different modes of action, and with something like bow and arrow, it's got two modes of action. So it's group F and group I believe it is, off the top of my head. And I'm just going to quickly go to my notes that I don't have in the best order. F and I. Okay, so clopyrrolid is I, and diflunicin is group F. Now, dicamba M is I, and surefire buffalo, which is bromoxynil, is I as well. So this is what makes bow and arrow unique. It does have that other mode of action. And so they're two common ones as opposed to merging. I'll quickly, what I've got up here, I've typed this many times and hopefully I've done it justice. So group I herbicide affects the cell wall plasticity and the nucleic acid metabolism, leading to uncontrollable cell division and growth. So what happens is it eventually destroys the cell's ability to function, and that will kill the weed itself. With group F, it inhibits phytoene dehydrogenase, a key enzyme of carotenoid biosynthesis. Carotenoids perform several functions in the plant, including the absorption of light for photosynthesis and protecting the plant from photooxidation. So those different functions, and that's works in a bit of a slower mode. So with bow and arrow, you'll find that it's a slower mode of action. You'll have that quick part, which is the group I, which works really quick. And then the slower part is the group F. And that's how I understand it. When I used to read on this, that's how I understand that, how it worked. And that's why bow and arrow took a little bit longer was there was a lot of different breakdowns within the plant itself to actually completely eradicate the weed rather than just the cells. With something like your group Ds, so your group D herbicides are kind of like they're your pre-emergents. And what that does is inhibit steps in the plant cell divisions responsible for the chromosome separation and cell wall formation. This stops root growth. And after application, roots are relatively fewer numbers and are a club shape. So this is especially what we talk about with root pruning, and why we don't use a pre-emergent herbicide on such a new turf, because as the lawn will send out new roots, they hit this pre-emergent barrier and end up just clubbing, so it just won't go any further than the pre-emergent barrier. Whereas if you already got healthy turf, it's not grabbing the tip of the root of the lawn, so there isn't as an issue. And I don't know how the science of this works, because I thought personally that the lawn would feed through the side of the root system and not just the tip. But there is a lot of science behind it. So as that root will hit the barrier, it starts pruning those roots, and you get this kind of, if we cut a bit of turf out and you see the actual underneath of the root system, you can actually notice that clubbing effect, which is quite amazing. I'll have to find some photos of that. I should have prepared tonight and seen how it is. But that works. So when you think of pre-emergent, so when the weed seed's in that barrier, or even just above the barrier, when that seed germinates, the first thing it does is send that root out, and it opens up, sends the root, and that's instantly working in the weed to won't allow it to grow. So that's my understanding of the different modes of actions and how they work, and hopefully, yeah, it'd be nice to see if Luke can just confirm that for me as well. Because yeah, again, I started with the words because a lot of big words that I don't even know how to pronounce. It's just as bad as being a doctor, I think. So what have we got here? And Luke's going to send me some emails, so that'd be great. Yeah, I've got to start getting an email, like a photo bank up, because yeah, it's so important to be able to share that as well, and especially in the videos now, because it's something you can come back into and have a look. So Andy, there's a couple of products. So you got endothol, which is it kills when the weed's growing, and it's applied as a foliar. Now there's a few different products. You obviously got Wintergrass Killer, Power Check, and you got David Gray's Wintergrass Killer as well. So Amgrow and David Gray's both have an endothol product, and it's in a smaller volume. This is a one, and there's another one here. I'm just going to try and bring it up now. And of course, you got a propyzamide. So propyzamide is a pre-emergent and post-emergent in one. The pre-emergent properties aren't as effective and aren't as long-lasting as what Spartan is. And I'm very cautious on how much we apply as well. Here we go. I'm going to open up both of those. So with Ryegrass, the same thing. There is a few chemicals out there, but there isn't really any chemicals that I would probably recommend for the homeowner to treat. But you can treat it with Tribute from Bayer. I'm pretty sure Duke, same thing, does do Ryegrass as well. But again, that's something that I'd get a commercial sprayer to actually probably even message Luke from Silverstone, because he's licensed as well and he works in the Rockingham area, so he has a few products that can treat that as well. That would be my recommendation there, Stephen. Because we tried so with Ryegrass, it's an interesting one. You can actually kill, and although it probably comes back in winter. So one of the reasons Ryegrass isn't as it doesn't work as well here is that if you overfeed Ryegrass and really up the nitrogen, it just crumbles. But it's something we obviously don't want to use over winter, because you can make the rest of the lawn crumble as well. So if you're trying to, when we get the overseeding through winter, and to get rid of the ryegrass in spring, we'll just do a nice couple of foliar applications of nitrogen just to eradicate that, and then you don't have to use a chemical. It works, yeah, it works for some, but some, yeah, you do have to spray it out, and that's why you got to be careful putting overseeding Kaikui with ryegrass. Okay, what do we got here? So Endothol is safe for Cooch and Queensland Blue and Buffalo. Not safe on Kaikui. A lot of people have claimed that it will kill Kaikui. However, like most products, it ends up just suppressing, and Kaikui seems to come back stronger than ever. So it's not one I do recommend either if you're going to try and eradicate Kaikui. Propyzamide, that one there is safe for all turf, I believe. I'm triple checking. Except for Kaikui. Wow. How about that? I really thought it was good for Kaikui. So if you got wintergrass in Kaikui, you got a few problems there. Which is weird. I don't think it would actually hurt it. I just think it would just discolor it and stun it. But again, you don't want to stun that this time of the year. So the best product for Kaikui is Spartan to put down as a pre-emergent to ensure that doesn't. I'm going to look into that one though. Okay, let's see if I can find that photo from Luke. So what did everyone think of last week's video? Because obviously it's touching base on applying a herbicide with the hose on pack. Yeah, getting some feedback on it, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, funny story with it though. So in the morning I came out and I filmed it in the morning, and I was trying to use a bit of a script because I didn't want to miss anything, and it took me probably 3 hours to actually read it properly, fix up my stats. I was really trying to be perfect. And I came to editing time and I edited it, got it edited, and then I listened to it all back, and I could hear the crackling and static in the microphone, and it was really bad. And I think it broke my heart. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I had set it on the YouTube video as a premiere, and I was just listening to it back, and yeah, it just didn't work. So that actually, yeah, that hurt. So I messaged a couple of people. So I messaged Luke and I messaged Dan from Colonel's Mowing. He's not here with us tonight. And he yeah, had a chat with me, and I sucked it up and refilmed again, and I got it out that night, and I was pretty happy with how it went. In my own feeling, it wasn't perfect. I didn't use a script. It was just basically set it as I felt, how I felt it. So I started a few times and made a few mistakes, but I felt happy with the end product still. It still took me a good hour and a bit to film it and get it right. I still did a couple of takes. But I was really hoping that I touched the subjects that we needed to cover, and especially that hose on pack, because that is a common I really get asked that one quite a bit. All right, got the photo. I'm hoping I can make it work. Yeah, it is a common question I do get asked, so it was good that I could do a video on it, and it's actually good I can do the videos on it all now. Okay, let's... Oop, not that one, that one. Alright, can you all let me know if you can see this photo up here, if it's come up? Sorry that it started so big, it's stuff and I'm still learning. Now, just let me know. Yeah, I know, that's the big thing, Ben. I can't overthink it. And Ben Sims has been fantastic on this, Ben from Lawn Tips. And I've got another friend, Al, from Golf Box. He does Team Al videos for Golf Box. Both of them have been a great support on this and understanding. And they've turned around and told me any streamer who's made a video has gone back to their first video and gone, oh, wow, how much have I changed since that point? Okay, so if you have a look by where the thumbnail is, you'll see this little root where it's turned into a bit of a club. That there is root pruning. That's probably the most obvious photo that I could show, and it's a great photo, so thanks Luke for that. The problem is, Jamie, with a 30-minute video, and I'd love to do a 30-minute video, is, again, on the feedback from Ben and others, is that when a video pops up, and it's like tonight with a live stream, I'm talking here, I think I'm coming close to that hour mark now. So 50 minutes. When you're prepared for a live stream like this, you're generally sitting down relaxed and you can watch this. So when a new video comes out, you make that assumption when you look at the video, oh, it's 30 minutes, I'll watch that later. And it might not get watched. Whereas if it's stuff that's between 5, 10, 15 minutes at max, the chance of somebody watching it and me not rambling, because I'm a rambler, and that's why I probably like these live chats more, is because I just ramble and talk forever. I can be really specific and straight to the point in a video. And yeah, I do need a co-host. And that's something. So the equipment, everything to buy is, and it's something that's got to be worked on. So everything to buy is, yeah, it's quite expensive. And everything I try to, I'm just going to take that photo away. Please take the photo away, not everything else. Okay, we got it. I was scared then. Yeah, I could see it was Buffalo, and it was with Barricade Spartan. Okay, great. Yeah, thanks, Luke. Appreciate that. Just to confirm for everyone, yeah, that was Buffalo, and that was root pruning effect with applied Barricade, which is now Spartan. Oh, sorry, Barricade and Spartan are different products, same active ingredient. Barricade's made by Syngenta, and Turf Culture does Spartan. But yeah, 100% Ben. Look, obviously some videos take that little bit more explanation, and if it was a video that was 15 to 20 minutes, but it wasn't me rambling and going back on what I was saying, and it was really effective, well then that's worth it. That's okay. But when I sit there and ramble, and I'm not going to be afraid to admit that, when I do ramble, I don't want people to sit there watching me watching a video rambling along. And on the co-host, yeah, so the hard part is I've got a plan on improving all this. But every bit of equipment that I seem to come across is just costing a fortune. I did the video, I mentioned it earlier in the start. I tried to do a video with a DSLR camera, and I just couldn't. The audio was horrible. I spent, a good 2 hours out on the lawn just going over my voice, talking with Nat was filming. Just to upload it later, and it was horrible. Yeah, it was pretty sad. So I've got to get a camera and a lapel. So I was going to get like a top mount camera for the top of the DSLR, and got turned around and told instantly, going, that's not going to be as effective. You've got to use the lapel. So that was pain. That was a pain. But yeah, everything, like even with the camera, the audio, it's still not 100%, but it gives us a starting point. I eventually want to have a setup so I can turn the camera around and look on the other side of where we are now, and have it a co-host, and I'll have like Luke from Silverstone, Dan, and Luke from MoMaster. I'd love guys like them to come in who can give their knowledge and share with us. And 100%, Ben, nothing worse, and I know exactly the same. Nothing worse watching a 20-minute video, and I think it's big on YouTube, on Facebook at the moment as well. People are putting those videos up where there's going to be a climatic end, and they lead you up for 15 minutes for last 30 seconds of disappointment, and you generally scroll from that 15-minute mark to go straight to that last 30 seconds to get to the punchline. So I don't want that to ever happen here. So I'm glad, we're in greens for about 10 minutes, try and work on that kind of mark. I'm going to try and do one a week. It's hard to keep that up because obviously this isn't my main part of the role. So through winter, it's not too hard to get a video out when it's not raining. But as summer comes, it does become a bit harder. So, but we'll keep trying. At the end of the day, we'll keep trying. Every time I can get a chance to make a video, I'll do that and give out as much information as possible. There's so much. Every time I think about a topic, there's another topic right there. Next week's topic, I don't know yet. Feel like if you want to give me some suggestions, go for it. I'm more than happy to talk about that. But again, as we're coming to the end of this video now, if you do have any more questions, please feel free to ask, and we'll try and, if I haven't answered anything, I try to answer the key points straight at the start of the video so people don't have to watch the full video if they don't want to, that we have the main focus and they can scroll through. I don't think... I think I missed... just Andy's... Andy, what did you say about... here we go. Let's go back. Bow and arrow, I believe, is safe for, and I'll confirm, I'll send you a message and I'll put it in the comments below as well. I believe bow and arrow is safe for velveteen. It states turf. So we are good to go. I'll check with propyzamide. Zoysias, velveteen, saltine, any of those kind of grasses I've got to learn a bit more on. And I will find out the answer. I don't want to give an answer now and then all of a sudden being wrong, but I believe Lara was talking to me. I asked her once, I believe, about velveteen, and she mentioned that it might be safe, so I'll confirm that again. We will do lawn reno and aeration. What do you reckon how we should do that? Should we do that in August? I want to do August, start of August. I want to get people excited for spring. So we're coming to the end of it, and hopefully we don't have rain till December. So I'm thinking August. And yeah, Ben, we'll definitely talk about that too. I think that's probably a good one. And I'm trying not to... I want this chat to be not all about Ralphy's Lawn and Garden Supplies. I just want to talk. I just want to talk freely without advertising too much. I've obviously got my logo there, and that's kind of... I like it just being small. That's what I want to build, is just a nice chat place without being a full advertisement. Because I want to share what I do have, or my knowledge and others with everybody without that feeling. So what do we got in my notes? Let's just make sure I haven't missed anything. My next video is actually on pre-emergence. So I've got 2 coming, and I'm trying to figure out how to do the pre-emergent one. It's an interesting one. And then also I got one on how I actually treat winter weeds myself. And hopefully that can help others on how they treat their weeds. And it'll be good once those videos out. Same thing, we can have a talk about them. Good to be able to turn the microphone off there. But I've pretty much gone through everything that I've got here on my notes. I don't think I've missed anything. But fill 3. I haven't yet. No, so I got to go catch up with Lara. I haven't seen Lara for a little while. We've both been pretty busy, so I've got to go check that out. But I have heard. And yeah, so yeah, we'll have to catch up with Lara, and that'll be another. I'd love to get Lara on for a chat. I know she won't probably want to, but I'll get her on and we can have a nice chat as well. And yeah, absolutely, depending on turf type, and that's the big thing coming into lawn renovations, and I touched with it last week, is I'm finding that I renovate my lawns coming into autumn, or in autumn, more than I do want to do in spring now. And using those soil temperatures to maximize the benefit of your recovery is very essential when you're doing renovations, because at the end of the day, we want to renovate it and have it back as fast as possible without having to wait, because you know, we all face it, we all love mowing our lawns and looking after our lawns, so the faster it's back, it's the better. So yeah, we'll do a whole night again, stream on renovations, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And yeah, I'm looking forward to weekly. I don't. How many people have we got watching tonight? Let's have a quick look at the stats. Yeah, we still got 10 watching. So last week we had 5 watching at the end. We got 10 watching at the end tonight. So that's I'm really happy about that. So I think we'll see how those numbers come. What do you feel about the time? Are you all happy with this time at the moment, compared to the 6 o'clock one? I feel like we had a slow start, but I feel like we've got the comments flowing now. Jamie, if I had Dick come in here and did an interview and we had a chat, you guys would have to be prepared, and guys and girls, I keep forgetting to mention girls, but you all would have to be prepared to sit here for 3 hours at least on listening to Dick talk about turf. And he has got absolute wealth of knowledge, and I love talking to him on his knowledge on turf, and you certainly will get a big insight on that. So yeah, that would be a good one. And the other person who I'd love to get in is Dan from EcoGrove. So we had Dan at the last the Love Grows Turf Day. We had Dan give a speech, and I think every single person who came to me after that, and I missed it, which I'm so disappointed about, because he is one person who has got a massive wealth of knowledge in soil microbes and how everything works in the soil. Everyone who came to me after listening to Dan was just in awe. They just thought it was absolutely amazing. So he would be an absolute fantastic person I'd love to get in. Of course, Baileys, lots of Baileys. Yeah, 24-hour stream. Hey, well, you never know. But I think that's where we'll leave it tonight. I won't ramble on too much. I could talk on for a lot more. We've probably hit the hour mark now. Let's have a look. Yeah, hour and 3 minutes. So I won't ramble on too much, because you all got to get yourselves ready and head to bed yourselves ready for a Friday. I love Thursday nights because, yeah, tomorrow's Friday. I can have a good debrief on how tonight went and get ready for the weekend. So again, before I go, I'll ask the last time, just any last questions when I come through before we do head off. Any feedback is always welcomed. And as I said, this is something I'm gonna grow. I'm committed to this now, and I really enjoy it, and I'm hoping that you are all enjoying it too. I mean, you're still watching it after an hour, so I feel you're enjoying it. Quality will get better, audio will get better, and we'll just have some fun. I really want to make it a fun time. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, that's it exactly. So like this time now, the boys are in bed asleep. So I had dinner with them tonight, and I put them to bed. So they went to bed about 7 o'clock. So and that gave me the time to come in here, quickly set up, and breathe before I press that play button. So this is where we'll leave it tonight. Thank you again for all watching. Dan is out tonight, so that's why he's not here, Jamie. But he is watching. Okay, he's hiding. Yeah, I know he's out, so he's probably watching in the background. So thank you, Dan. Hello, how you going? And but no, thank you again. If you are watching and you haven't subscribed, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. So when we get to 1,000 viewers, we can have a community tab. I don't like to flood my Facebook page too much on information on the YouTube. So having that community tab allows me to put the information through the YouTube, and anyone who follows me there will get, when I'm going live, get all that information. So that was a big part that I do want to get to. So if you haven't subscribed, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And thank you all again. I really appreciate the support, and really appreciate everyone jumping on and commenting, because when you comment, it just, my nerves go away. Once you start talking and I start talking, the nerves are gone, and I'm really enjoying it and start rambling. So thank you all again. I look forward to seeing you next Thursday again, and we'll do it probably at the same time. I'll probably pull in a Sunday afternoon stream, just a casual one every now and then, which probably might not even have a topic. We'll just have a bit of a chat on how your weekend went. And I will see you all on the next one, and hopefully I can get that another video out on Tuesday, around Tuesday. So thank you, have a great night, and we'll see you soon.